You obviously know Kung Fu.
Joining us today on the Kung Fu Driving podcast, some of my favorite people because they're working on one of my favorite shows ever. If you guys don't know, I have championed this show for quite a long time. We have the stunt coordinators for Warrior from the mind of Bruce Lee, Brett Chan, and Johnny Yang. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining the show today.
Hello, hello. Good morning.
Hey guys. So like I said, I've championed the show for a long time. Canceled on Max and now on Netflix. Everybody who follows the show wants to know: is there anything you can tell us about a potential season 4? Anything at all? Give us a little bit of hope.
I think it's still on Max for certain territories. So, and it's only playing in certain countries for Netflix. I know Netflix they own the rights to air the 3 seasons. Now they have to request that they want to buy it if they want to make a season 4, or Max has to make it one or offer to them. I mean, we don't really know at this point. Johnny, you know anything more?
Nothing that we're allowed to say. I
Wow.
I would just say, it's kind of up to our grassroots movement trying to get Netflix interested. But as Brett said, I think it's still currently rolling out. You still can't get it everywhere. So as it keeps getting rolled out, maybe we get more views and we'll see where that goes.
We're just hoping it doesn't take too long that actors start leaving and start doing things. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a sliver of hope still.
Okay,
And
I'll
if it
take a
does,
sliver of hope. That's cool. That's cool. Well, talk to me then a little bit about that, because from my own experience with the fandom, there's a huge swelling of support for the show. It's a unique show, I think. Great stories, great characters, and of course, great action that you guys bring to back up all of them. Um, I mean, just from some of the comments on my social media, for example, God damn it, Netflix, please bring season 4. It'd be a crime to not do it. Things like that. What have you guys heard from the fans that come up to you in terms of continuing with the show, the action that you bring to it, the legacy of Bruce Lee, and all of that? You've got to have a whole bunch of attitudes coming at you about the show.
go ahead, Johnny.
I mean, generally, it's always been positive. The ones that really stand out are any of them where they kind of feel like it's the first time they've seen Asians like themselves on screen, being cool, being suave, we're not just playing the nerdy kind of character, doing martial arts and being the hero. And I've had people come up to me who if they know I'm on it, and they tell me that that means a lot to them to see that side of them, So we always talk about representation, and it proof is in the pudding, it's important.
It's a show where Asians are actually the lead and
Yeah.
the major cast, and is running with several other Caucasians and blacks like this. But it's historic. So a lot of it has historic run to it, which is JT and them when they were writing it, they really looked into the history to give it a little more live feel to it for the audience.
And though it is an Asian-led show, a lot of great Asian characters. One of the strengths about this show is that the story is so great, the characters are so well developed that you kind of don't even think about whether or not they're Asian or not. They're just strong characters, and like I said with talks with some of your cast members, I can take any one character from that show and want to follow their story because they're just so well developed. That being said, you guys have developed some amazing action for it, and it kind of has to go with the territory, being that this is a Bruce Lee influenced show. So, did that bring any added pressure to you guys to kind of live up to that legacy?
100%. I mean, I came off a show prior to that, and I mean, it was just like, oh, it was, the unspeakable, and it was just really hard. And I got drowned a little bit in the trash about, oh, why did this happen? How come he didn't do this? How come he didn't do this? And so it was really hard. So when the legacy like Bruce Lee comes into play, I said you have to make sure it's good, and that was a big pressure on us. And I mean, I think I might have been a little bit tired. Was I tiring, Johnny?
The
No.
entire no. I mean, everyone was down for because everyone knew the stakes that were involved. Again, we're doing this Bruce Lee thing, and it meant a lot. So I think what really makes our show is that everyone, literally everybody, not just the cast, the crew as well, is down for it. So I think it shows through the show.
We just try to give it Bruce Lee's language. His inspiration, when he talks in his words, we try to make that flow in the choreography. So it's the way he's talking, because and Shannon liked that, and so did JT. They really and Justin, they really implied that they wanted that. Directors really embraced that, which was really cool.
Um, the point that you brought up, Johnny, about cast and crew being involved in it, was that a thing that you guys did intentionally to train both cast and crew uh, to have everybody fully immersed in that language of movement that you're talking about, Brett?
That's one of my calling cards to pretty much most shows or all shows that I can to work on is do that because it just integrates everybody. Um, and the cast and the crew, and they come work together. They become more trusting when they're on set, when they can do things, they understand each other more, and especially the stunt team and the cast and the crew, because we're also dealing with everybody. We have like costume department, we have like the catering department, they have like the ADs, they'll jump in and join us, producers they'll sit and train with us. So it really gets a good home feeling for everybody. Johnny can attest to that.
Yeah, I think it really just instead of everyone just being co-workers and acquaintances, where I see you in passing, our stunt room kind of became the hangout spot. Everyone would kind of gather there in the morning to do their training or on their own, hang out. And then it's like, oh, where are you going? Oh, you going to set? Oh, I'll come with you. Or hey, y'all see, hey, you're not working today. You want to go grab a coffee. And so it really just helped gel the entire team and the cast and crew together.
Now, you said that everybody was kind of into it. Were there any actors that were over the top into it and really want to mix it up as much as possible at the expense of their own bodies?
All the cast. Even the cast that did not want that had no action wanted to jump in there. And like Johnny was saying, it became the hangout spot. So, they would all come and just sit around. We created a big lounge for them in our stunt area so they can come and hang out. And we had meal plans for them and all these things. So they come and then they're watching everyone else train. They're like, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to. And they get excited. And so the ones who don't have action, they just want to be in there, even if they don't have action.
All right, then speaking of that, what was the division of labor like between you guys having to coordinate all of this stuff?
Well, uh, because I was second year directing, and also I was also directing an episode, so that was like completely. It was ridiculous. I mean, the workload. We have another guy, Jason Ing, and so it was basically set upon on the three of us. I'd basically take the choreo, and then I started talking with this fight, this scene, what's happened, action wise. Johnny would look over logistics of everything, and then Jason would pick one part. So I'd give Johnny, so Johnny, like this house has to happen, and Johnny like, "Okay, gun." He'd take care of all of it. He started doing this, and I sort of look over everything, and then started getting to little bits after they start. So Johnny would start shooting the first previs, and he'd connect all the shots and create the moments, and then Jason would get the next one, and then they would hopscotch over. And then if we had anything more, because the show was always busy, then we get another like Stuart Williamson in there, and or Steve Davis, so depending on who at the time would start pre-visiting. But uh, and then when I'm on set, second directing, Johnny's the main stunt coordinator for all of it. And when I was directing, Johnny came on as second director for my episode. So it basically balanced it out. And then Jason took over all the rest of the stuff afterwards when Johnny was busy on the other end.
Team effort to make it all work because there are so many fights at any given moment. We could be doing 3 fights at a time, and while that's happening, that's just the prep side. Brett could be filming something on set, and so we do have to delegate a lot to the guys back at the studio, just to make sure everything's just fine-tune machine.
When you are crafting the fighting styles for the various scenes, the various characters, who is the who takes the lead on that kind of thing? And how does that process come out? Because obviously, Dean looks like a different fighter than than Koji and all of that. So, who was the one that laid that all out and kind of crafted each style for each character?
I do primarily. I do
Shannon.
choreo. I take care of all the scene and how they look and how they move and why, and I create the choreography for it all. And then I'll sit over here with this. Okay, Johnny, this is the Joe and the Mark Dacascos fight. So this is the choreography. This is what we're doing. Johnny will then, I'll say, I need this shot, this shot, this shot, and he'll basically put it all together. He'll connect everything. He'll think of all the masterful, great shots to make everything better, and then he'll adjust choreo where it needs to be, depending on the move of the camera. It's going to move here, and then we discuss it, and we goes back and reshoots it, and we edit. Yeah. So I mean, it's the major print is with me and the style and the characters, and then Johnny would take on and he'll create more from it, whatever it needs for that scene at the moment, because we're constantly moving. And then Jason will do the next one, and then kind of do that. Same thing, team effort.
Cool. Now, there's a I got a note here that one of your fight sequences, the opening fight sequence, was filmed over 3 10-hour days. Is that right? Like 10 hours a
10 and
day
a
for
half.
3 days?
10 and a half.
10 and a half. Wow. So talk to me about what goes into having that take 10 and a half hours a day over 3 days, and what was the reaction from the cast and crew having to, because I sit at a desk for 8 hours and I'm tired. So so how did that challenge everybody to get that done?
I'll start it off and I'll let Johnny take off the first sequence. So JT says he needs this. He wants it to look like this, and he wants this set involved this one. Okay, great. So now this becomes over three feet. Well, we were supposed to get 5 days, but schedule.
Of course.
And then it was down to 1. But the alley fight, Johnny spearheaded that one. I choreographed it, but Johnny spearheaded through locations and the guys and all those things are happening. I mean, he dials it down to a point where we know every single shot we're doing, and it's move, no move, go here. Everything's already rigged, pre-done. Tell him, Johnny.
We kind of have, our show works in because we don't have time. 10 and a half hours seems like a lot, but really it's not. You're only going to get so many, to kind of really get the vibe of how we do our fights on Warrior. But we need to treat our fight scenes and like to that extent, the camera and the editing all like almost like we're doing a theater show where there's very specific blocking. The camera needs its blocking. It's not random. All of our camera angles for the fights are all like, very specific. There's an A to B point where I work with Brett, and we decide what camera angles we want for what it is. And we tell the actors, okay, all you need to do is these 5 movements will look best for us from this particular angle. And then we'll talk to the camera guy. Okay, it's exactly this motion. We do a few passes and then boom, and then we go. Hopefully we get in a few and then, and then we move on. But so again, 10 and a half hours seems like a lot, but it's really not. It goes by so much faster than you think.
Well, I might have lied. I think the second fight, which is the butcher shop, I think that was 10 and 45 minutes. I think we got 15 minutes grace there. But, I mean,
They've saved our lives.
Yeah, it did. It's well, we cut out a few things, but I mean, it's all in the prep. Like when I sit there and choreograph it, okay, then we get the set. Okay, so we choreograph it and we create our own set in our studio. We shoot it, pick everything, we shoot it. Then we get to the actual set and we run through the motions there, and Johnny will run everything. We'll shoot everything, and then we bring the A-cam operator on another day, and we'll run it with him, and we'll shoot it. It's called Alexa Previs. We'll actually shoot it. This is exactly what it's going to look like. And it's like Johnny was saying, we tell the camera guys it's going to go to here, and that's where it cuts. And that's action happens to here. So all the actors know. It gives us, safety moments for our actors, safety moments for our stunt guys. And, we've been pretty lucky so far.
It's funny because when you watch that on screen, obviously it looks like just one shot, and that's the feeling that you want to give the audience, right? They're following the action from beginning to end, but it really winds up being choreography within choreography, just to get those angles right and make sure that everybody's in place, right?
Well, you see, in my episode 6, so I gave Johnny full reign on everything. I choreographed the knife fight scene and but Johnny says, I want to do something different in your episode, Brad. I said, what do you want to do? He goes, well, I want to do a oneer. Okay, well, let's look at the situation, how much time we had to do this oneer. But he made it happen. Like if you watch that scene, the whole opening scene that goes into, it's all a oneer. We have guys falling from the roof, and we had pads there, but as the camera goes to see them fall down, These other guys are running in, you don't see. Grab the mat, move them out while the camera comes down, follows the next piece. Johnny masterfully created that for me.
The BTS, I wish they would, if we could ever see it, would be really funny, because we have really funny bits where, again, people are running around trying to avoid camera or be seen by camera. Okay, you know, again, the camera angles were planned out very specifically so that, like Brett said, we could have a guy do a high fall onto mats, and then as soon as we look away, we have a group of 6, 7, 8 guys running the mats off camera, so that when we come back, you can see a dead body on the ground. But you know, obviously the guy couldn't fall straight to the ground. So it was a lot of fun. I'm trying to engineer that one. Our idea of that one was, there is no wrong answer. We'll go as big as we can. The initial ideas were insane, and then we'll dial it down. You know, back. We'll bring it back down to earth. But the original ideas were insane. I was like, let's just do anything we can do and see what happens.
Again, you had 10 hours to do that.
So, do you guys have you had to abandon a lot of ideas given the constraints of TV versus, say, film?
Well, I mean, like the first 3 fights in the first episode, I mean, there's actually a lot more because we were given the parameters. It was going to be a lot more time. We had 5 days over these 3 fights, which we would have got everything even more. Then it came down to just 3 days, and these 3 fights were like, well, okay. So yeah, and in the alleyway sequence, we had to cut some stuff out. In the other sequence, the meat shop, we had to cut some stuff out. But it's like when I choreograph it, I kind of put it together, and with Johnny, then we do the shots that if we can cut out, like, you know, I can cut out shot 14, 15, 16, and it'll still work. The choreography and the editing will still work.
And what about episode 8, the Batman fight? I think is what you guys call it. But that's one where the angles have to really be kind of locked down tight to make sure that looks good. Can you go into the process behind that one?
Go ahead, Johnny.
That was episode 4. That was the one in the rain at night. I mean, same as anything else. Really. Again, locking down the camera to where it needs to go. The challenging part for that one definitely would have just been the fact that we were doing it at night in the rain. We've done other rain fights before, but this one was particularly cold for some reason, is what I would say. That was actually really hard. You can't, you know, you obviously can't tell on camera, but it was freezing for those guys. But all the guys, Koji especially, you know, just powered and smashed through it. You know, good on them. You guys don't get to see as soon as we yell cut and where Koji's going, cut. You know, you guys don't get to see those moments, but there was a lot of that happening. That one was tough.
Because they were shooting, running the cart in the water scene before us, and there were rain towers. We're using rain towers, and it was cold, and it was actually colder there than we expected the night. So they were in the water for, oh geez, they were there all day, and then they went to shoot all night with us. So, and I think Koji almost got hypothermia. It was, yeah, because it was so cold, but he was like, I don't need that blanket. I don't, Koji, take the blanket. No, take the blanket. You know, it was just frozen. And so was
Chelsea.
yeah, Chelsea. She was frozen too. But they powered through it all.
That's crazy. That's crazy stuff. The stunts got kind of I guess more involved in the last season. You had Natalie's farm burned down and all that stuff. What was the process behind that? Obviously, you had to have a lot of safety checks in place. Did you bring in more people to make sure that was all carried out, and you know, who were more, I guess, maybe more versed in safe burns or things like that?
Our guys, Leander Lacey was our South African stunt coordinator, and he was saving grace. Him and assistant coordinator was Russ McCarroll, and basically Mickey Kirsten is our special effects coordinator, and him and his team were on point. They already knew, like, we had to have all the fire on all the time, but the set only had certain lifelines it could live. So, you know, it was like putting it on and then turning it off, so the set didn't get destroyed before we ended up finish shooting. But all our guys were really versed on working with each other, so they all knew about the fire safety parameters. And so when I was on directing this, Johnny was running all the fire units with the guys around, all the safety, all the guys where they are, where they need to be, where the exit points, where everyone needs to be when it catches fire. And plus, we were lighting people on fire too. And the field had like flame bars for the whole field too, where Jenny was running. So, or when Jenny was jumping through the fire, Johnny was on camera. he manned camera has as she was running and as she jumped on and jumped through the fire.
Yeah, the interesting about the Nelly farm is because again, our cameras have to be very well choreographed about what we're shooting. There were moments of having to cameras looking here at what point of the fight are we at? We're at the end of the fight, so the fire should be the biggest. Okay, now we're changing camera angles here. This is technically the middle of the fight, so the fire should be less. So now we have to dial down the fire. Now we're back over here. This is back in the beginning. Okay, fire should be at its smallest. So there's a lot of jumping around with the fires of that you know, in the aspect of the fight, which is actually really interesting to juggle. But luckily, you know, our DP George Amos, you know, was all, you know, he had all these notes exactly where the fire needed to be at any given moment. So he was on top of that, you know, which again really helped us.
And you know, this goes back to the team when everybody's kind of working together, like training together, doing other things. So when we're on set, like everyone's just kind of like Jen, like with Johnny and Jason, I can look at something and they already know what I'm saying, like what the problem is, and that's what, because we're so used to working together, and I have the team, so I have the actors, and I have the crew, so it's the same thing, and they just kind of understand our drive, so which really helped us in our movement.
Johnny, speaking of that drive, as you evolved into the second unit directing and stuff, how did that change your perspective on developing the action and creating the action and then kind of overseeing things? Because I guess with that added level of responsibility, there has to be a lot more for you to kind of juggle in your mind, right?
Yeah, I think the hardest part for me for that is essentially letting go. Because a lot of the times when I'm, you know, one of the first fight that I did, which was Dean's fight in the bar, I didn't actually previs that one, right? We gave it to our guy Stuart Willison because we were busy doing other stuff. So I really just had to like sit back and really trust the guys. A lot of times I'm the guy that's on the floor running everything. But as the second unit director, I have to be behind the monitor. So I can't just run on and change. I have to trust my guys, you know, to do it. And then in any given moment, then I have to just also look at it and then figure, okay, what can I problem solve, you know, because then I have to run the whole unit as well. The hard part for me would be definitely just letting go and trusting my guys in the same way that Brett trusts me and Jason to go do our thing. You know, the letting go aspect is always difficult.
Brett, how
It is
about
very
for
difficult.
you as a director? That's even more trust and even more letting go, right?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't really let go of the fight choreo because there's just little things that, because I'm choreographing and I kind of know why the certain hand does this or does that, and sometimes when we're so busy, I can't tell everybody why certain things there are. But I mean, yeah, but I mean, because I'm working Johnny for so long since 2016 and Jason, so they know when I'm like, they're like, oh, got it. They kind of know. So that for me, letting go for them to take care of that has been a long time coming because I trust them. I trust they're going to do it. I know they know what I'm looking for. So for me, letting go, that portion was okay. It's yeah, because I'm used to jumping on set and saying, no, 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 no. So no, I can't do that now. I sit back and I see where it's going. Okay, no, no, no. Then I get Johnny's looking here now. And so, like I said, I can look here. And so now I say, no, just he'll bring back, take this, take that, change that. Okay, Johnny, he'll just make it all happen. Then Jason will run in and change the other parts. So it's really hard though. It's really, especially when you're so ingrained in being on set all the time. And you know, because Johnny's under a lot of pressure because he's now stepping up, but I'm looking at him take this my job now, and he's just like, he's gonna make that work. But he's a rock star. So
How did your collaboration begin? How long you said you've been working together for a while now? How did you guys come together as a team?
well, I actually originally called Johnny to come work for me on Marco Polo, and he turned me down because he was on some other show in Russia or something like that. But he was going to come visit me and hopefully get a job then, but he never did. And then, go ahead, Johnny.
Well, luckily, Brett was doing a show in New York, and then he needed a guy, and actually, I met Brett as just a fellow performer on another show, and over the years, we just kept in touch, and just things never worked out. But then he had been following me and some stuff I was shooting online, and he needed a guy, and he kind of just took a shot in the dark, and I think we both said at some point we went, look. this could end really well or really badly because we don't know. We've never worked together in that capacity. But Brett mentored me the entire time. And like I said, we gelled really well, and just and Warrior came along, and that's boom, 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 and here we are.
That's cool.
Jeff, it's for me, it's when I'm following Johnny, watching the stuff you're doing, but also you talk to people, like it's more about the people at the same time. Yeah, they have to have the skill, but you have to have good people around you.
Sure.
And it doesn't matter if you are the most talented person in the world. If you're an asshole, I don't know if I can say that. If you're an ass, then I just want to have you on. I mean, there's so many people can fill the spot, but you have to be a good people. And I think I've really achieved that. I have a lot of really, really good people now. And Johnny's like my right hand. He's number one. He's always there. And so much so that everyone's trying to steal him now.
When it's hard when you do people, we travel a lot for our work, right? And so you're away in a foreign country 5 months, 6 months, 8 months, whatever it is. The team, that's the new family, right? So as Brett was saying, you don't want your family to be asses, so you want to be with someone, with people that you can be around for 5, 6, 7 months, spending 10, 12 hours a day together. That it gets challenging.
Yeah, sure. Now, the show now is nominated for Outstanding Stunt Coordination for a drama program. Congratulations on that. Let's say we get a Warrior season 4, hopeful for a season 4. What do you guys do to step things up and allow the show to evolve, allow the action to evolve and grow? Do you have you discussed that? Have you thought about that kind of thing? Where can you take it so that the fans are like, yeah, give me more of that?
I think it's the storytelling, really. I mean, it's got to come from the scripts. And then because we just can't start making stuff up. We're fortunate of JT and Josh and Evan and and Shannon. They give us the tools to take it where we want to take it, but the story has to follow what they've written and the story arcs of each character. So I mean, we always try to think outside the box and in terms of how it's shot. We don't want it shot just regular like Hong Kong style or this style or whatever it is. We try and figure for the moment of time where it is with the actors in the story and how the camera will then accentuate the story and the character, as opposed to just we're going to shoot this way, like act Hong Kong style. We're going to shoot this way. It doesn't just work that way. I don't know. What do you think, Johnny?
Yeah, I think what the stakes of the story really help. That's why you're kind of in it. If anything, the story really helps elevate our action side of it, because it's got to be story driven. Whose perspective are we seeing it from, and so that why do we care? And so we're lucky that we have such good writers on our show, like Brett said, JT, Josh, Evan, and all the entire writers room are fantastic, at crafting these stories, and so when we do these fights, you're as an audience watching it, you feel like you have a personal stake in it. Like, I know we're talking about season 3, but like when we did season 2 and we did the big riot scene, I think everyone was with it. Everyone that was watching was like, I am with these people,
Yeah, right. Like everyone's right in the story. It feels like they're part of it. One of our directors, Lonnie Prester, I mean, he's just right into it too. Jenny Gordon, like even like Dave Petrarca, they're all like all the directors that the ones that have been back every season. You can tell that they're right in the story, and it's more of a passion thing for them, which is fantastic.
I'm saying there's no ego on our show. Everyone is there for the greater good.
It definitely a credit to all of you as a team because as a fan watching it, I'm immersed in what you guys are putting down. So I want to be there and I want to feel the impact and empathize with all the characters. So kudos to all of you. But speaking of directors, Brett, you're moving into directing yourself. Talk to me a little about what you have going on and where your career goes from here.
Well, JT did say if we went to season 4, I would have a few direct.
If
I have 2 scripts that are out right now called 116. One starting with Andrew Koji and Miles Brown. We had a little setback because the schedule kept changing, so we lost one of our other leads. Hopefully, it's back on track soon. Another one called Fox Hunt. We have Joe Tassom attached to that one and a few other people. Again, Our lead female, the agent never gave the script to her, but later on her manager got it and she liked it, but she got him getting cast on a big show, and so we lost her, and that's like, okay, hopefully we get someone else. I don't know. I mean, I interviewed to a second interview to direct on Avatar, The Last Airbender, which is cool. It
Cool.
didn't go my way, but they were very receptive, and they said probably season 3 because it's a really big show. So I'm interviewing to direct a few things, and just hope. But I mean, Warrior would have been fantastic.
Don't
Just
say
would
would
have
have
been
been,
fantastic.
will be.
It'll be fantastic. Yeah, and and generally wherever you see me, no matter what, if I'm directing or if I'm second directing or second, whatever it is, wherever you see me, you'll see Johnny, unless someone steals him from me, which is very likely because it's been happening. But
Johnny,
Borrow,
yeah.
borrow. All
Johnny,
right,
how
I'm not
about
going
you?
anywhere.
What about you? What is on the horizon for you as a filmmaker, as a director, as a coordinator? What do you have going on?
Well, on my spare time, I'm always trying to like, like I want to be a student of film more than anything. So then I'm always like doing like studies and researching other fighting styles, getting ready in case, in case a show like Warrior comes along, so that we can bring something new and different to the table. And again, working on alongside Brett on whatever he's on, or there's a possibility of doing a show in China, like a big epic that might be on the horizon about one of China's first like maritime explorers. Yeah, so so again, we're just kind of seeing where where the path takes us.
That's awesome. And I hope that path takes us to Warrior season 4 because like I've said before, it's an amazing show. It's a unique show. Got great story, great characters, and amazing action from you guys. So I want season 4. I hope that Netflix can feel that from the fans. So best of luck to you guys. Thank you for what you bring to the show, and hope to see much more of Warrior and whatever you guys are putting down because you guys do an amazing job. So congratulations and best of luck.
Poison Clan rocks the world.